Sorry I'm late. Welcome to the first day of freshman composition class. Turn this down a little bit. Now, I'm sure a couple of you are nursing hangovers. Don't nod. Don't nod. I don't want to see that. One of you might be stoned, and half of you are responding to text messages. Your minds could not be further away from composition. But for the next hour, I want to bring you back. Alright? Instead of boring you with the syllabus and course objectives, I want to do something a little different today. Alright? I want to talk to you about plain old composition. You see, there are dozens upon dozens of academic, peer-reviewed, research-based articles on this very class. Yes, it's true. Tons of scholars have criticized and examined the pedagogy, that means teaching guys, in this Intro to Composition class. Even more have offered ways to better, to improve, to enhance you guys' learning experience. Are any of them here today, though? I don't think so. All you got is me. Sorry. So, what is everybody saying about composition? I'm sure you guys are just dying to know. But the first thing you must understand is that this isn't just a composition class in the sense of composing written works, that is writing. This is a composition class in the sense of composing new ideas. Alright? But this is what English scholars would like to believe. What I'd like to believe, but more on this later. Many have criticized this composition class because the class has focused primarily on research. That is, you guys picking a topic to write on, which I have to approve, then you find relevant research and in turn regurgitate and compile this information. However, in this process, are new ideas formed? Not really. Donald Murray writes in his article, Writing as a Process, Not a Product. He really criticizes the constant, the teacher's focus on only the mechanics of writing. He writes, repetitive autopsying doesn't give birth to live writing. Students shudder under a barrage of criticism, much of it brilliant, some stupid, and all of it irrelevant. It's about discovery through language. So I don't want you guys to focus on the mechanics and how many sentences should go in your paragraph. I want you guys to come into this class thinking you're going to learn something and you're going to do this by writing. Others have criticized composition classes because they have been more focused on interpreting texts rather than producing texts, therefore putting an emphasis on research and my job, teaching, and your job to write and learn and write, is sort of forgotten. What's even more interesting is that some scholars even consider this a place of politics, that this classroom is a vessel for social change. Maxine Hairston, she wrote an article called A Conversation in the Composition Classroom, which is what we're doing right now. And she talks about how an associate chair of the Department of English at the University of Texas recently said the mission of the English department is always to oppose the dominant culture. For those who agree, she goes on, how natural to turn to the freshman writing course. You guys, with the huge captive enrollment of largely unsophisticated students, what a fertile field to cultivate to bring about political and social change. Through writing instruction, the blossoming of ideas, and becoming more politically aware, scholars believe we can reduce public ignorance. I mean, that's awesome, that's super cool, but I don't know how true that is. Many scholars forget that this is a working place, an institution driven by capitalism. I won't tell you guys how much I get paid, but let's just say Donna Strickland, who wrote The Managerial Unconscious, called it an economic exploitation. And economic abomination. More like it. Okay, enough about that. How did we get here today? That's what I want to know. It involves many different forces, including economical, political, and social elements. Might I clarify that I am a white female teaching this freshman comp class. Alright? It was a very sexist society. Go figure. What happened is, as colleges began to fill up in the 19th century, professors realized that they were kind of in over their head with all the students coming in learning English, and the labor had to be divided up. Thus emerged the hierarchical division of writing programs, the division of learning language, and the division of learning literature. Alright? A composition class is designed to help students express their ideas correctly, while also helping students develop their own style and individual ideas and views. However, the expressing the ideas correctly part becomes a big hurdle. Alright? How many years have you guys focused on making a sentence correctly, having the subject and the verb? So long. And professors in Harvard at the end of the 19th century scoffed at the idea of their privileged students studying the elementary rudiments of language. The job of teaching the mechanics of language was left to the archetypal white female, associated with working the simple secretary job. Instead of the prestigious tenure-track professor teaching these courses, which would cost the university quite a bit, the job was left to non-tenured teachers, and so the freshman composition course became focused on form and correctness rather than ideas. There are vast possibilities in this class. However, instead of being a ladder, composition classes remain simply a rung in the hierarchy of education. So what I want you all to take from this is I don't want you guys to be focused on the product of writing, getting the grade, making it sound perfect. I want you guys to be focused on learning something and engaging yourself and becoming a writer and developing your style. Alright? You think you guys can do that? Yes! Alright, let's get out of here.